let's see, when I said to buy it, it was at 32.17. I said to watch it on 4 hour with vision. That's what I swing trade on, is the 4 hour. And can everybody see my, or well, some of you aren't gonna be able to, but I am recording this right now, so it will be on our YouTube channel here later tonight. But for those of you that can see the screen, can you see these trend lines that are drawn in the chart right here? Looks like the support starts basically the 1st of November. The resistance runs back to middle of September. This is how I found it. This obviously, we were trading this when we had Telegram. This thing was like under $6, I think. It was cheap, and I'm kind of pissed that we never just held on to it and see where it went. But we were just day trading it, kind of swing trading it here and there. So I just went back to check all these, seen that it had a really nice trend to it. It had been climbing with everything else that we were trading then, which was all basically like the EV stuff. So like Neo, Blink charging, Plug was right there with Blink charging. So in the WKHS they've kind of just stalled out. But so I seen it was on this trend right here, this uptrend, and then I also seen that it was sitting on the support. And just knowing how everything else EV is moving, like Neo, Tesla, etc., it was just an easy call, to say, hey, watch vision on the 4 hour. And let me see if I pull it up real quick. Swap screens. Alright, now you all should be able to see my trading view, right? Or the ones that can see my screen. Okay, so basically there's a lot of chop in there, there's a lot of stuff in the middle. But we only care about the signals going long coming off of the support down here. These are the only ones we really care about. And then we only care about the shorts that are up here, either very close to this resistance or on it, maybe a little bit above it like these two are. Those are the ones that we're going to care about. And this tool right here, you can find that it'll auto draw like basically the trend, and it's not perfect every time, but it gets you real damn close. It's, if you go to where the trend lines are in the top left, it's like the first line tool in TradingView, and you go all the way down to the regression trend, and then kind of just start here where the trend starts, or just maybe you want to catch the end of the trend, whatever you want to do, and then run it that far. Usually you just run it to the last candle. Like on this the other day, I just ran it to the candle that was there, so, and it'll auto draw that trend for you. I mean, if it's not uptrending or downtrending, it's really not going to do anything but lay it flat. So try to make sure it's something that's uptrending or downtrending, depending on which way you're trading it. But you can see here, there's a very nice long signal right there on the support. There's another one here. This one's close enough to be on the support. There's one here, which you could have got it and held it through here and ran it up here. That we can see how much of a move that was here. Use this measure tool. Like had the potential for about, let's get it right there at the top, about $5.50. It looks like $5.50 move, from $23.99 to $29.49. So I mean, that's a very big move. And we'll go down here. Hang on a minute. Echo. Now do we have an echo? We sure do. Which one of you did it? Alright, I think we're good now. Okay, so we're just concentrating on those long signals that are coming off the support. There's another one right there. Like I said, the ones here in the middle you really don't have to worry about. as long as it's going to follow that trend. And if it's not going to follow the trend anymore, like if bad news comes out or something, you're going to know really quick, because it's going to come down here and it's probably going to punch through that resist or that support. So that's when you'll want to get out if it turns around on you. A lot of times they don't. You'll know when it's going to turn around on you before it does usually. So if we measure that move from here, we'll just say you got out at that resistance. That's a $10 move right there. And it looks like it lasted, let's see, the 15th to the 23rd, 18 days? No. 8 days. 8 days. So that lasted 8 days and it ran $10. So whether you had calls on it, just bought some shares on it, no matter what, regardless, it made very good money. And then, of course, like I showed you guys, I seen it was right here. That's where this trend stops. It'll be right here on that last candle, that last red candle. If you guys can see that, that's when I let you guys know with the little watch list deal that it was on the support. It'd be a good time to buy it up. And it ran so far because it came up, and we can draw a little trend line to kind of see where that trend is. It came up and broke through that. Now the candle shrank back down, obviously, because of the market situation, the White House stuff and everything. So that's why it kind of came back down. If that hadn't had happened, we would probably be looking at a very, very bullish candle that the body is basically taking up the whole thing. With that strong of a move, I would suspect it'll probably continue tomorrow, at least in the morning, off the open. Then after that, we'll just have to see kind of where the market wants to go. But that's how I found Plug. And we'll go back over to FinViz real quick. Alright, you guys should be able to see my FinViz now. Let's see, what was another one? PEIX. I'll show you guys why I like PEIX. Other than this big, massive trend since about middle of July, this thing basically just had a new floor right here, and it continually keeps trying to go up, 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 up. You can see that it's got a nice little floor right here at, let's see, where it's at, about 560. And there was a push up off of that, come back down, supported on it, another push up. I mean, they're all hitting about the same levels there, 737 on both them. Another support on that, pushed back up, and then it started to make like a little a trend there, and then there was obviously a wedge forming there. And so when you see wedges like that, and when they're at the end of a wedge like that, is a really, really good chance that they're going to break. Knowing PEIX is a very strong stock. A lot of people are in it, a lot of people buy it, and it likes to move up. That's why I put it in the watch list there and said it'd be a good one to load up. And just happened the next day that it broke out of that wedge there. Let's see, said to get it at 570. I'm not sure what the high was today. I don't expect it to slow down or come back down for a few days at least. Let's see. The high was 633, it looks like today. Pre-market, the high was 642. So it moved close to $1 from where I put it in the watch list the other day. And I would still keep watching that one, being that it broke out of the little wedge there. Now I just kind of look for it to break that upper trend line that it has there, and it probably will. I mean, it's always moving very good. So and then Blink is another one I'm always watching. Wish I would have held on to it too back when we had it, because we were trading it too when it was like $5, $6, $7, and it shot up over here. The reason I said to get into it yesterday is the same reason as Plug. So you can see that there's a nice trend line, nice upper trend line. So we're forming an uptrend here. There's a support, a resistance, and I saw it was sitting on the support, just like how plug was. A lot of this EV stuff you'll notice likes to move the same. Like if you watch Tesla and Neo, they a lot of times like to do the same movements. So since it was a similar deal to plug, and it was on that support, that's why I called it out, said buy it up. Let's see. Blink was at 37.51, and now Finviz is saying it's 41.37. I'll check real quick and see what the high was today. Looks like the high during market hours was 44.50. Pre-market it got up to 45.35. So it moved a hell of a lot today. I mean, called it 37.51 and it moved up 45. I think I said the high was 44.50 during market hours. So that's a big ass move. I mean, that's $10 if you would have had calls on that thing. I mean, you would have took the rest of the week off. Even buying shares on that, I mean, a $10 move is massive. And honestly, I don't see it slowing down either. There's a very, very strong uptrend in that thing. Can't see really where that line's running now, but if I had to guess, it's going to be up somewhere around $60 soon. Just if it follows the trend, which they usually do, it'll be up there towards $60 soon. So I mean, I'm definitely going to think about buying it after I get my money out of the Neo calls that I have. I bought Neo today when it dropped down. I sold the Neo calls that I had this morning, and then once it dropped down, I jumped back over there. Seen it was really, really down there. I think it dropped to like $49.50 or something, and then I bought some $50 and a half calls, and I think pre-market or after hours. After hours. Neo's already up like $1 or $2. It shot up there during after hours. I guess a bunch of people started buying it, and it shot right back up there to where it dropped from, and then came back down and just kind of settled flat. As it sits right now, looks like it's at about 51 and a half, so I'm already up $1 on those calls, assuming that it's probably going to come back up to 53 or 54 in the morning. So I'll probably look to sell them to whoever wants to buy them right off the open, like I did this morning, and then I'll probably look to get into some blink or plug calls for next week, probably on the expiration. Let's see, what was another one? LI was just a recent IPO, but like I said, just it likes to move with all the other EV stuff too already. So ran up here when, let's see, in December, or no, that was November, and it was at 47.47. So just based off the support that Finviz has drawn here, and it's a recent IPO, runs with the rest of the EV stuff. You could easily see it coming back up here to $35-$40 easy. And I've never looked at to see if they have any options on this. That is something I'll probably write down to check tomorrow, because that would be a good one, I think, to get some calls on. With the expiration, a couple weeks out, just to be safe. HOFV was another one. This thing's always on the scanners. It's came all the way down here to $1.44. That's why I said to buy it. I mean, this thing should be sitting, as you can see, right up here, a little over $7. And like I said, this thing's always on the scanner. You can see that. I mean, it just goes flat for a couple days and gaps up a few dollars. Goes flat, gaps up a little bit, comes down, gaps up a little bit, gaps up, and then this big old gap right here went up. I mean, where was this at? $1.94. Just shot up to $6.39. So this kind of stuff, when I see this, I like to load them up at the bottom. A lot of people, when we were in Telegram, I told them to sell their grandma's house and put all the money on the IDX, and a lot of people listened, and a lot of people didn't. A lot of people sold at a loss. We had one lady that sold $23,000, or she bought $23,000 worth of IDX, I think like at $1.25, and she sold all of it at a loss. And like I said, we were at like $1.25. It even dipped below $1 there, I think, for a minute. And I told you I see y'all at $5, and it shot right up there, right under $5. It looks like the high it got to was 474, set at 475. And it honestly looks like it's about to break this wedge and shoot up a little bit more, because it's, I mean, I would consider that an ascending wedge. Some people might consider that a bullish flag, but I think it came down too far to be a bullish flag. So, yeah, I might have to get some more of that tomorrow. But same thing, when I see them that far down, I mean, it's just it's honestly kind of stupid not to buy them up. Because, I mean, this thing, I'm assuming it's on the NASDAQ. It's on the NASDAQ, so they have a dollar requirement that they got to stay at. And if they don't stick at $1 or above, then they get delisted or threaten to get delisted. And usually they do. They pull out some type of news out of their ass or something, and to shoot it up. And, you know, it doesn't matter if it shoots up one day. That's the day you get out of it. So this is why I say load stuff up like this. Another one was SRNE. You guys probably heard about it a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, I think, when it was running up close to $20. This was another one in Telegram. I was telling people to load back here, where it was under $3. We had to load the boat list, and it would tell you. I just kind of put a list together of a few stocks that I seen patterns in. And if you go back to the history of the stock, you can do it on TradingView. Go to like the daily or the weekly chart. You can see that this thing always comes down here. There's a floor at like 2.5, you know, but it's right there under $3. So on the list I say load this thing up when it gets down to $3. Load this thing up. But as you can see, it looks like it found a new kind of, I don't know if this is going to be a temporary floor, if this is going to be just a new long-term floor. But what'd you call me? But as you can see, it's got a new floor. So when you see it down here and you see it finding a floor, this is kind of like a multiple bottom here. So you can basically bet that that's a very, very strong resistance. So now you can see it kind of lifted back up off that. You know, Finviz has this little trend line drawn in here, kind of making a wedge. Okay. Anyway, so this is why I said load this thing up. SRNE, you can, like I said, go to the weekly chart. I mean, any of you go to the weekly chart, and you'll see SRNE always comes down, finds the floor, shortly after it shoots back up. And this is not the first time it shot up towards $20, not the first time it shot up towards 12 or 10. I mean, this thing is literally always doing this. So I would put it on a list, and at least go look at it for yourself on the weekly chart, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Just kind of scroll back to the left. If I had to load the boat list still, this thing would still be all over it. Let's see, I think that was it on the bottom of that watch list that I posted yesterday. If you guys want to go look at that, you can see it. If any of you don't have vision and you want it, message me. I have a discount link for you, because that is where you will find the signals that I showed you unplugged. And again, I swing trade on the 4-hour chart. I know a lot of people do it on the daily, and that's fine. I mean, 4-hour just kind of breaks it up a little more for me, and I kind of like it. So, but if you do have vision, the signals we're looking for are the clear signals that are on the trend lines. So we're gonna go long here, and then like if you wanted to buy some puts a few weeks or a few days out, unplug as soon as it comes up to this resistance. Make sure it's gonna get resisted first before you do that. I mean, you don't want to kind of go betting against this stuff, especially, you know, at the time if Tesla's running, all the other EV stuff is gonna do good. So obviously Tesla's running. You don't want to go betting against Tesla. You don't want to go betting against this stuff. Follow the trend, and it'll work out in your favor. So like on this one, once you get that short signal and it's clearly gonna turn around, then that's where you want to get in there. So if you want a discount link for vision so you can get these signals on trends, this is the best way to swing trade, in my opinion. It's best with vision is the best way to trade in general. But so now I want to show you guys some stuff. I'm not sure. We'll stick with plug. I'm not sure how it ran today. I didn't really look at it. Hopefully that's... Yo. I mean, you can do either one. It's all going to be the same thing. I mean, so like on options, on the long signals, you're going to buy calls, and on the short signals, you're going to buy puts. But like I said, with swing trading, you just want to make sure that you're following only the signals that are on the support or resistance. I mean, you can still make a little money, as you've seen in there in the middle, but you know, there's no point in not holding until you get to the other side of that trend, unless it reverses on you. No, let me show you real quick. Let me go back to the 4 hour. Okay, so a support, for everybody that doesn't know, is like a floor. Think of it as a floor. You're standing on it. It's strong. You want it to be strong at least, and if you fall through it, you better get out of the hole. So this bottom line here, where this stuff comes down and settles on, that's your floor. That's your support. Where it gets hit on is the resistance. So imagine that as a ceiling. So you don't want to go walk through a house and have 4-foot ceilings. You're gonna smack your head, and you're gonna fall down. So that's what you hope to happen in these uptrends, is you want this to come up off the support. That's where you would look to get in it. With Vision, it kind of makes it, you kind of have a friend there, because it lets you know this is a very good spot to get in. And then like on here, this short signal, yeah, you're going to be kind of watching it. I would too, of course, but as long as it doesn't start to break down, I mean, if it comes back down here and touches the trend line, then have your finger on the trigger ready to get out of it. But most likely if it's up here in the trend and it comes down here and touches this support, you're still going to be at a profit because this thing already moved up. So you want to pick up some calls on the supports. You want to get rid of them, cover them, whatever you want to do on the resistance. And then right here would be a beautiful spot to put some puts on. So as you can see here, I mean, to be honest, I probably would have got out right here. But as you can see, there was still a little bit left to go down to the support. So in these trends, until they break out one way or the other, either upward or downward, they're going to follow that trend. The reason why is because everybody has the same exact lines drawn on their chart. They don't know what it's going to do either. They just know that if they buy it and sell it at these points, then it's going to do what they want it to. And that's why this stuff does what you want it to, is because all the other people are having the same lines on their charts. So that's why I tell everybody, you want to draw like the major support and resistance lines when you're day trading. You want to be drawing the same lines that everybody else would trade. You don't want to be going and drawing pretty pictures like Bob Ross on the chart. You want to be drawing the same stuff that everybody else should be drawing too. So yeah. So you buy calls on the support, get out of them on the resistance, and then buy some puts. But make sure it's not going to break out. No, I mean, yeah, I'll take the credit for it, but let me show you how to draw that real quick. No, you're okay. So up here in the little trend line, I don't know if you can see my screen or not, but in the drawing tools, there's a trend. So I'm just going to kind of grab that candle, and this thing pretty much seems to do it itself. I'm not going to go all the way to here because it'll grab that where it broke out. But so say I just want to, this is where it is today. You just kind of pop it there, and it pops the trend up there for you. And then, like I said, it's not perfect every time. You're going to get little poke outs here and there, but you'll know where it's at. And then FinViz automatically draws that stuff in. So you can kind of check back to them, maybe see where it starts and where, kind of help you out to get the hang of drawing the trend lines, and then you're good to go after a couple times. But this deal on TradingView kind of makes it just too easy not to use it. So yeah. Does anybody else have any questions? Yeah, go ahead. No, you're good. Just shares. Just shares. You can't buy any contracts on any platform that I know of anyway. I mean, there might be one out there, but for the majority that I know of, or all of them that I know of, you can't do any options before or after hours. Yeah. Yeah. Pre-market starts at 4 a.m. New York time, and then goes all the way to 8 p.m. New York time for after hours. Like it just ended a little bit ago my time. So I mean, as long as you got like, I mean, you got to have either, a cash account and have enough settled cash, or no PDT. Like that still affects your PDT if you have that. But yeah, you can. I mean, you can trade as many shares as you want. It's pretty sketchy. I mean, because especially after hours. After hours is pretty. It's pretty dead most of the time. So, if you're into something and you want to sell it, unless there's high volume after hours, something that maybe started running after hours, it's going to be pretty hard for you to sell the shares because there's nobody there to buy them. So, if you're going to, I would just watch the scanners at when after hours starts, and those runners will pop on there after hours, and they'll show you who's going to be running. Um, those are usually pretty easy to get in and out of, at least the first few hours, because there's still people there. But I would, if there's no volume, I'd kind of chill out. Yep. Yeah. So usually what happens in pre-market, basically, that's why, I mean, nobody can make a watch list and actually be accurate until you see where the volume is going to be. I mean, at least for day trading. So that's why I usually wait till about market open, because most of those pre-market runners, they'll die before even market opens. And then once market actually opens, most of them that ran till open are going to die too, and that's why I tell people to wait 10 minutes after the market open to start to trade, because in the first 10 minutes you'll see exactly which ones are going to die. They'll show their cards as soon as I mean, the first 5 minutes they'll start showing you who's going to actually keep going for at least the morning time, maybe till noon, sometimes all day, or they're going to show you which ones are just going to dump off all day and trap a bunch of people. So that's why I tell people that the market opens. I mean, it's a sketch fest. You don't want to. I mean, typically you don't want to be trading in there, but like this morning, I knew it was a good time to sell the calls that I had on Neo, because there's going to be a lot of volume there. There's going to be a lot of money there, so it's going to push my price up. So as soon as it opened, I think within the first 3 minutes I sold them at max profit. For the yeah I think yesterday or the day before, I think it was. No, I mean, pre-market's always better than after hours, because it's still the morning time. You'll notice a few times in pre-market there'll be like a big rush, and that's because there's a lot of other brokers that are opening most of the time at 7 a.m. It's either 7 a.m. my time or 7 a.m. New York time. I think it's New York time, but a lot of the major brokers open up at that time, and so that's when they allow their pre-market trading to start, and so you'll see a big rush of volume then. But pre-market, there's a lot more people, so there's a lot more chance for you to be able to get out of your trades when you want to. The reason stuff starts running usually in pre-market, it's either usually news, or if it starts running like at 3:59, basically, like right as the pre-market opens, that's usually a bunch of banks and institutions that are filling orders for people that put them in. You know what I mean? Um, so that's usually why there's a big rush. But that usually is what makes the runners for the days, because me and you see all that volume come in. Well, now we're gonna watch it. So I actually bought those one strike price in the money. I think it was only like 50 cents under the current price, but it was just the first one in the money. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Sometimes, I mean, it depends on. I mean, you're gonna get more money for the in the money ones, but you're gonna pay more for them too, so it kind of evens itself out. Uh, at the time, you're just kind of, it's a supply and demand thing. Like, how many people want, like, the calls that I bought just a little bit ago before market closed on Neo? I bought $50 calls. They were in the money a little bit. tomorrow, if that thing's at 53, how many people are going to want to buy my $50 calls? There's going to be a lot of people. So the price of my contracts are going to be worth way more. So, I mean, either way, if I bought a $52 call, and it's still not there yet, in the morning it gets to 53, well, those calls are going to be worth money too. A lot of people are going to want those as well. So, it's just a price and demand thing when we're covering contracts. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'll show you. Yep. Are you watching now? Okay, so we got where the normal trend line is. You know where that's at? A little drawn tool up there on the top left. There's a deal called the regression trend. You can click on that and then kind of just find where you want the trend to start. Go to where the trend you want to end. And I mean, you can kind of be anywhere kind of in the general area, and it's going to draw itself in there. And then well, yeah, it's regression trend, but you'll see it all the way at the bottom. Yep. Yep, no problem. What'd you say? I think it was legacy. This is the charting platform is tradingview.com, but the signals come from Vision. So like if I didn't have Vision, this boring thing is what it would look like. But if you had Vision, then you know where to buy it and sell it. Yep. What's up? You mean like the timeline you got till the expiration? I mean, it depends on like everything. All this shit moves in patterns. So, if you can see like how long did it take to get from this long signal on the support to this short signal on the resistance. So if you add that up without even drawing any lines, it sure looks like a hell of a lot like this one right here. So I would just, especially if you have a little trend to go off of, I would just start counting days and seeing how many days that took, and just give yourself that many days. Maybe add a couple if you got the money to extend it that far, and you'll be good. Yep. And of course, I mean, you could, if you only got enough money for maybe a week out till expiration, and this thing's coming off of support already, and it's going to go back up towards the resistance. I mean, just let it be. Get the week, and this thing will be up here maybe in the middle. At the end of the week. Either way, you're going to be able to cover it and make some money. So, yep. Does anybody else have any questions before I show you some stuff a little early? I was going to make a video this weekend and help just to kind of give a little help on some pointers, maybe just to help people use Vision. But oh yeah, big money, big money. Hell yeah. You mean on the scanner? Well, I mean it's still. I mean, I guess you could say both, because I'm assuming you're going to say customize the scanner. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. We have a hot command in Discord. If you type !swing, it'll bring up a video on a lot of settings that I like on FinViz. But yeah, I use this all. I mean, this is basically all I use. I mean, if I'm not looking for a trend, then I'm not on FinViz. You know, unless I'm looking at it, I'll show you guys something else of why I found HOFV. By the way, I forgot to show you. Usually, I start with Channel Up Strong because obviously it's Channel Up Strong, and there's usually very few that are on here. I know you see 352, but when we drop this thing down to under $5, there's only 12. So, and then you hit the charts. You see the charts, boom. I mean, you can clear as day walk through these 12 charts. I look for names that I've heard on a scanner a bunch of times. The ABUS, I've seen that name a million times. I don't know shit about them. I don't need to. All I need to see is the chart. Just like Vision. All Vision needs to see is the chart. I mean, I can tell you right now, it looks like it's right on that resistance, so you might want to go look at it tomorrow. CYN, it's too high in the trend for me. I'll look later. Same thing with EPSN. HBP, I'm not looking at it because it broke its support. NMTR, not looking at it because it broke the resistance. SESN, maybe I might entertain that. XTLB, big ass name you guys been hearing in the scanners lately if you've been listening. It broke its resistance, so that's why you've been hearing it. SPPI, it dipped kind of out of the support there, but it looks like it's trying to come back in, so that might be something you want to watch. But it depends on what you want to like trade. You know what I mean? Like, if it's something that I'm going to look to buy options on and swing them, I'm probably not going to go for that lower money stuff. You know, I'm going to be looking for something that's a little more. So they usually make a little bit more delta, and they usually make a little bit more money per move. So for that, you can easily just go over here to institutional ownership, pick over 90%. That institutional owns, I mean, whatever this is, I don't even know how to say that name. A Technologies, we'll call it that. So you can see that trend. I mean, it just looks like a computer's trading it because it's owned by over 90% institutions. So that's something, you know, you probably, when it gets down to the resistance, probably pretty safe to trade as long as you buy, you know, a little bit. If they see that somebody's buying a whole hell of a lot of it, they might short it and take all your money. But for the most of us, we're just going to be buying a few of them, you know. So, but yeah, I really like to look for institutional ownership. It kind of just gives you an extra boost of confidence that it's probably going to do what you want it to. So like whatever the CRL is here, that name seems familiar, so I'm going to click on it. Then you could go see if they got options, you know, because you're going to be able to buy, you know, a contract cheaper, you know, probably than you would that one share price, or at least have a little bit more value in the one contract than you would be if you were to buy shares of this thing. And of course it'll make more money because you're buying options. So, but I mean, that's just a real simple way to come find these swings. Like I said, I look for the names that I've heard of before, and usually if I've heard of them, that's because they've been on a scanner somewhere. But yeah, you can see how easy it is to come in here and just find some stuff, you know, if you want to swing it. Right here on FinViz. So you go to that screener tab right there. You can put in whatever you want on this side, and then, like I said, the higher. Oh, okay. Well, it'll be recorded, and I'm gonna throw it up on YouTube tonight. But you can go to the chat, the public chat, and type !, swing, and it'll bring up in a video, and I show the same stuff on there. Oh, my bad. I forgot to show it. Shit. How about now? Alright, so yeah, this is where the channel up strong is. This is the institutional ownership. And you can now see, hopefully, the trend lines that FinViz automatically draws in there. Yeah, it should be like, I think, right underneath channel up. You broke it. Wow, that's weird. What browser are you using? Huh. Me too. You should be able to see it. That's weird. refresh it. I don't know if that's going to help, but it might. But anyway, you come here, I mean, you can see the clear trends. Like I was saying when you guys couldn't see my screen, like this GOOS right here. I'm not going to look at this thing or waste time with it because it broke that resistance. The IQV, probably not yet because it's at the support or the resistance right here, sorry. I'm looking for something, if you're going to swing something long, which probably most people are, I'm going to look for something that's on the blue line. The blue line on FinViz is the support. So then we're going to get in there, ride it up to the resistance and sell it. Yeah, see, that's strange. I always come over here, I hit all, and then all of them pop up, and then channel up strong has always been there for me, I think. We're looking for pattern. Oh, okay. Okay. You had me worried there for a minute. Alright, cool. So, go ahead, go ahead. Those maybe just look like something, maybe that it's gonna try to alert you on, maybe, or a signal that maybe FinViz, because they got like a FinViz Pro or whatever that they want you to pay for, but I've never needed it, so I'm not sure. I've never messed with that. Huh? Might be one that they think, maybe at the beginning of a trend, maybe it throws a signal at them or something. Oh, and then there was another reason why I wanted to look and buy up HOFV at the bottom there. If you go right here, it'll be underneath the search bar at the top, like you found screener. It'll say home, news, screener, maps, groups. If you go a little bit more to the right, there's Insider. If you click Insider right there, you'll see a bunch of lines with a bunch of crap on it. Some are red or pinkish color, salmon, whatever you want to call it. And then some are like a really light green. Most of you guys, like I said, are going to be going long, so there you can go over to the top right and filter them. You can go to buy transactions or sell transactions. You go to sell or buy, and then you can scroll through here. The left side is going to be the ticker name, and if you hover over it, it'll automatically show you the chart, what it looks like. Party City looks damn good. Holy shit. I might have to save that one. But this is insider buying activity. You can go all the way to the right with the blue highlighted date, and it'll show you the SEC form. Because anytime insider buys or sells any stock, they're supposed to report it. So HOFV was on here. We'll find it here on the left side somewhere. I want to say maybe it was on the third. Yeah, there it is. So I look for stuff that's got big numbers. You can kind of see here in the middle or to the right side. There's some numbers. It's how many shares they bought, the value of the shares but they bought, and then the shares total is how many shares that person owns, and then I think the value of those shares. So Let's go back down and find HOFV again. So again, same thing with the other deal. I try to look for stuff that I've heard of and that I know the name of. Usually that's stuff that's always on the scanners, so I know they're always running. At least, you know, they come like SRNE, they come back, find a floor, they run again. So this person bought 10,813,000 shares at a value of 15,139,000. And so that brings me to the chart. It'll show you the name of the person who bought it, their position in the company, which was the director, and I'm pretty sure that there was another buy in here, another insider transaction. But if you click on the date to the right, let my stuff load here, it'll show you the SEC form. So if we go back and then you hover over this, it'll show you the ticker. You can bring up the chart right there. So there's a reason why they just bought $15 million worth of that. I mean, they either bought it because they know some type of good news is coming, or they bought it because they know it's the floor, and that's where it's going to sit until it takes off again. So whatever reason, I don't really care. There's an 86.5% institutional transactions in the last 3 months. That means a change. That means, and if it's green, then that means they bought it. If it's red, that means they sold it. So there's been almost 90% increase of institutional ownership, and then you have an insider ownership of, it says 40, but I would say that's probably not updated, just based on how many shares they bought. But the insider ownership is up 108%. So there's a reason that the insiders and the institutions are buying it up. I personally don't care what it is, but if they think that's the floor or they know something's coming, I'll try to be there with them too. And based on how this chart usually, I mean, you can see that it kind of just stays flat and then it just gaps up. I mean, just randomly, whether that's news or whatever the deal is. Again, on that, I don't really care. I'm just there to sell it at the day it gaps up. So this is, I mean, these charts, I mean, they're all patterns. They're all going to do the same type of stuff over and over again. And that's why we had that load the boat list in Telegram. That's why if you go ask Lieutenant Dan in Discord right now, on just one of them, he was up like $8,000 or $9,000 the other day. And I don't think he bought too many shares of it to start, but he held on to it, I think, for a few months now, 3 or 4 months, and it paid off. When everybody else was probably selling it at a loss. So when they find a floor like this, grab them up and hold on to them. Especially if you see that much insider activity and then that much institutional activity to go on top of that. I mean, that thing's, that I guarantee. Mark, I'll have this recorded on YouTube. The date is January 6th. When it takes off, I'm going to post it in Discord and I'm going to tell you I told you so. Just like I said I told you so with Plug. But yeah, that's basically it. If anybody else has any questions, let me know. I'm just going to quickly show you guys a couple things with Vision to try to help you out. You guys kind of get a little sneak peek of a video that I'm going to be doing this weekend. So let's make sure I switch my screen back now. Who said that? Alright, I can get rid of FinViz now. We'll go to Tesla. How about that? Tesla might not be a good one because it likes to just do nothing but run up. Yeah, we can kind of go on it there. Tesla isn't a really good example, so we'll kind of switch to another one here in a minute. But kind of like with the swing trading deal, Vision, like there's a short signal here, but you see it just ran back up, and a lot of people ask, hey, you got a short signal right there after that long. You know, Vision's trying to keep you safe. It's Vision's job. He's trying to make sure at the end of the week or at the end of the month you're in profit. You have more wins than losses. That's what it was designed to do. So yeah, it threw a short signal, then it threw another long, 15, 20 minutes after. Like I said, Vision's trying to keep you safe. What I'm trying to help you guys with is when to get in and what signal to get in on. So this little indicator right down here in the bottom left, this is RSI. It's a relative strength index. To keep it simple, when it comes down here around 30, it's oversold. Time to buy it up. When it comes up here around 70 or above, it's overbought and it's time to sell it. On Tesla, don't always think that over 70 is time to sell it, because it's usually not. Tesla doesn't care about anybody's feelings, and it's just going to do it at once. I made the mistake the other day, bought some puts when Tesla, it was like, the RSI was like 84. It didn't care. It just kept running. And so I kind of took a little, that's that little loss I took. It was like $175. So on this long signal right here, especially when this thing died off the morning, it's Tesla. We can pretty much guess what it's going to do next. When the RSI gets down here, Tesla a lot of times does not come below RSI. You see it came below RSI here. That's because the whole market did that. Usually Tesla won't come below the 30 mark. If it does, it's time to buy it up. So yeah, right. I mean, it's a crazy one, man. So on that long signal right there, I would have been very confident to get in while that thing was flashing. And being right here on the short signal, if there wasn't any bad news or anything out at this time, that RSI right there on that short signal was below 50. 50 is usually a pretty good prime buy zone. So if it's below 50 like that, especially on Tesla, knowing that it likes to just run up all day, I would have probably held through that. Yeah, you would have been at the edge of your seat with Tesla, but you know, that's kind of, you kind of get a gauge on, hey, should I hold through this? Should I not? Worst case scenario, it comes back down here to, you know, where you bought in, and that's where you kind of exit. Yeah, it sucks to take losses, but when you keep them short, you'll always be ahead at the end of the month. Yeah, some shit happens. I try to tell everybody to stay the hell off of 1 minute. It's not a good time for anybody. I mean, if you're scalping some S&P 500 minis, I mean, sure, but when you're trading stocks, and I mean, you're just, one, you're looking to get faked out, most likely at a loss, and two, you're not going to hold for the entire, you know, trend or the little run that it's going to have. I'll show you some stuff here in a minute that I've been showing some people, because a lot of you guys trade options on WFC and stuff. I'll show you exactly why it's better to stick on 5 minute. I know you don't, you know, it's a 5 minute candle, it's a hell of a lot of time, but once you get used to it, just like that Forex I've been trading, dude, I was doing it on the 1 minute at the beginning. I had like a $2,000 account, trying to do it on the 1 minute, just kept getting faked out. I had like a $2,000 account. Like I said, I was taking profit most of the time at $10. I took all the money out. I got pissed off at it, and I was jumping in there without vision. I was like, "Fuck you!" You know, I helped build you. Like, I'm gonna beat you. You know, it didn't work out for me, and so I switched to the 5. That started to get good, and then I did some more research on Forex. I seen that most people trade it back and forth on the 15, and if they're going to hold it for a good bit of time, they're usually on the 4 hour. So I definitely don't have enough patience for the 4 hour on Forex, at least yet. So I started doing 15, and I don't think since Monday I've taken a loss on the Forex stuff. I noticed a big pattern in it, and it's so far, it's nailing it every time. So I know, like I said, 5 minutes a lot of time, especially on something like Tesla, but hell, I'll show you on Tesla right here. Vertical line, we'll just go from the start of this trend right here to where I would have got out personally would be on that doji up there at the top, because just so everybody knows, a doji is a sign of a reversal. Heikinashi is the best thing at calling those things. If you notice, before every long signal there's a doji, before every short signal there's a doji, before this reversal 2 dojis, and then, you know, maybe a hammer doji, whatever you want to call that, a hybrid. But up here, doji, kind of dipped a little bit, another doji, reversed, doji reverse. I mean, it's just, start watching that. It'll blow your mind. So I'm on 5 minute right now. You see my one line here to the left. You see my one line here to the right. I'll make those a little thicker, just so you guys can hopefully see them on your screen. Now this is a straight trend. Like, yeah, these two little candles right here. This is another thing I'll show you guys in a second after I show you this about the wicks out the bottom on a green candle. This is a very bullish trend. RSI started at the bottom, just poked over the top there at the top of this trend. I would have felt very comfortable through that entire thing. Looks like it started at 10:35 and went to about 11:40, so an hour. Yeah, you're on your edge of your seat, you know, with some contracts if you're trading options on it, but at the end of it, you're going to be happy. So watch what happens when I trade it to one or change it to 1 minute. We'll find our same move here. Now, how many times would you have sold your contracts in there and been pissed off because you left it all on the table? I mean, you would have been done and out by 10:42, 10:43, 10 minutes afterwards. Yeah, you would have been in profit. I mean, you know, but you left all this over there because somebody told you that you should be trading on the 1 minute when you're starting out. Hail to the no. You change it back to 5. We'll scroll back over here. How many of you would you held through all of that? You got one vision long signal there at that line and one vision short signal right after. You would have held out for max money. I mean, you could have made a little bit more if you would have held and blah blah blah, but you know, that's not the case. We're going in. We see that RSI is over the top. Okay, we're getting out at the next signal. Personally, a lot of times I get out before I see a short signal because I'm ready to take my stuff. I use the long signals to get in. I usually find my own exit because I like to make sure that my stuff's coming in my pocket, you know, because you like Vision doesn't know, like Vision never knew this was going to happen. Like this long signal right here could have been right here, the candle before that short signal. And you know, some people would want to blame Vision for, you know, the short signal coming right after. Vision doesn't know that that's going to happen just as much as we don't. Vision can just see what's on the chart, and it knows how to keep you safe. Like I said, try to keep you more wins than losses at the end of the month. So I like to make sure I lock in my profits when I got them. But I let Vision and the RSI make me feel confident when I get into a position. I see the RSI is low like this. Usually, like I said, Tesla or WFC, something that I've watched or traded a few times, so I kind of know how it likes to move and where the RSI kind of goes, because it'll be a pattern every time. And then I tell myself, hey, okay, the RSI was down here towards 30. It was 32.88 right there. Okay, on the next signal I'm getting in. You can kind of gamble and maybe get in on that doji, and then when you get that long signal after that, after the whole 5 minutes of you freaking out, you know, you have a little party. But that RSI, like all these signals in, like this one in between and stuff, I don't really care about it. You know, on this long signal, cool. The RSI would have been a little too high for me there. I probably wouldn't have got in it, to be honest with you. I want that extra. I have a checklist, and I want that checklist to be as checked off as possible before I get into something. Like I said, we'll swap back to that 1 minute, man. And it's, especially if you're new to trading, just stop trading the 1 minute. Just stop. It'll change your shit like night and day. I'm telling you, like we would have all got faked out right there. I mean, look, the RSI was at 78, almost 79. We would have told ourselves, hey, time to get out. We would have never bought back in because that RSI was so high. I wouldn't have, at least. Some of you more gambling folks might have, but I wouldn't have. Wouldn't have touched it. But if we swap to the 5 minute, just a few extra minutes per candle, and it just changes our entire day. Hell, change your entire fucking week. Oh, minimum. We'll go back. We'll put a line at that where we would have got out, and so we know, like, a little start point, how much we left out on the table. And like I know, like I've told a million people, hey, like I just said, like I take profit when I feel good about it. Take profit when you feel good about it. I mean, you don't have to follow the stuff I tell you. I mean, for the most part, I wouldn't. But like 760 right there, that would have been at the latest you would have got out. Like I said, I would have got out up here when I started to see that doji form up. So 762. Let's see where we would have bailed out on that thing. Yeah, I mean, we would have bailed out like before that thing was even halfway through. And we'll get the measure tool. We'll find out exactly how much we left. We left out almost $11 into a contract. $11, I mean, could mean thousands of dollars for you in profit. Especially on Tesla, boy, them contracts pay. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people trade it, but just don't. Just don't. I mean, if you go to any experienced trader, any of them, they trade stocks like this. They don't, futures. Like I said, that's a different world. So, they're over there trying to scalp that stuff on like a 30-second chart. That makes sense for them. That stuff moves like crazy, and they're in there for just like one or two little moves, and they make a bunch of money. But if you go to any experienced stock trader, they will tell you that they trade on the 5-minute, some of them the 15. I haven't worked up enough patience to go on the 15 yet. I think five's working perfect for me, so I'll stick to what's working and I won't fix what ain't broke. But the 1 minute it's ridiculous to trade. I get why people start out trading 1 minute. I did. You think you're gonna miss something, and I mean, you're kind of true on both ends. You did miss something. So I would stay away from the 1 minute, especially if you're new. I know that's one thing you hear a lot of people say. I mean, if you've ever watched YouTube videos or anything about trading, like, you got to have discipline, and this is exactly what it means. Like, you got to have the discipline to watch the 5 minute, because you're going to be struggling to sit here and watch it for 5 minutes per candle. But you can always swap back to the 1 minute and see what it's doing inside that 1 minute. Okay, so let me find my lines here. Tesla's not a good example, like I explained earlier. So all these stocks, they have to reset like the RSI, right? So like on this, okay, give me 1 sec. So like right here on this logging signal, on the 5 minute, that was that first long signal. You can see that it ran up from below 30 RSI, ran it up close to 70. All this stuff needs to reset. Every time frame needs to reset. So on the 5 minute, you might be noticing, hey, it's kind of pulling back there. Swap over to the 1 minute just to check it out for a few seconds and see what's going on. Okay, you can look at this thing and say, hey, it just needs to kind of reset. So it resets it, makes another push, resets, makes another push, resets, makes another push. When you see that, it'll be like, okay, it's just resetting. Let me go back over here to the 5. So now that I showed you that on Tesla, I guess I don't need to show you that on WFC. Just go on the chart. I mean, if you want to see exactly what I'm talking about, WFC is like crazy difference when you go 1 minute to 5 minute. I know a lot of you guys have been told to trade it on the 1 minute. Hell no. You can see, like, look at this move right here off the open. I don't even have to put any lines on that. And then compare it to the move right here off the open. How many of you would have got out right here or right here? 4 minutes after the open, you would have left all that shit, all of it. Don't lie. Yeah, I mean, you would have got out right here, probably at a loss, because you can only buy contracts right here, and that candle shot up in probably 5 seconds. And so you probably would have got out of here a loss. Even that next set, I don't know why you just switched, but even that next set there of a few candles off the open. And just again, I'll show you real quick, and then I'll swap back to 5. This is why you just stay off the 5 or the 1 minute. I mean, so you can see, like, this is a good indication. Yeah, the RSI was high there off the open, but this is the other thing I wanted to show you guys. Heikinashi is very good at calling reversals and very good at calling bullish and bearish candles. So you can see right here, there's no lower wick on that green candle. No lower wick, no lower wick. These two little candles right here with a couple wicks out the bottom, that means they're not so bullish anymore. And if you look at the 1 minute, that's exactly where it pulled back. And so, yeah, I probably would have held through there because those wicks aren't very long. If the wick gets long, then you start to worry about it. If you look up here at that red doji, super long wick. Now in the red candles, it switches. You know, the wick out the top is what you don't want to see if you're bearish. But I assume that this doji right here was green before it went red. So watch the wicks. So on the bottom of these green candles, if you're going into something, you do not want to see white wicks hanging out. My wicks are white because it changed color, but you don't want to see wicks hanging out the bottom of these green bullish candles. It means it's not so bullish. Same thing with the red candles. If you see, you know, if you're in a short move and you see no wicks out the top, it's very, very bearish. If you start to see wicks out the top, it's not so bearish. You know, there's a little bit of fight going on there. And then you start to see the dojis. Like as you see this big red down move, will come right after that red down move, a doji. The doji can be any color. Does not have to be green or red. You see this big green, turn to red, and then it moved. It can be either color. You just want to kind of look for those dojis. It'll give you a very, very clear sign of a reversal. And that's just one of the things I got on my checklist. Like I said, I only buy stuff. I only go long when that RSI is down deep in the money. When the RSI is over the top, yeah, I look to buy some puts. But you want to make sure you get some confirmation that thing's going to die. I typically stay out of the shorts because a lot of people go long. Almost the entire market, I would say the majority of it anyway, goes long because there's no type of hassle to it. You know, if you short something, different from calling or buying puts. Puts are simple, but if they're shorting, then they got to borrow the shares from their broker. They got to reserve the shares from their broker if it's something that just moved 200%. There's more to it than just buying a stock, letting it run up and sell it. So the majority of the market's going long. So we know usually the long call or the long moves or calls where you buy calls are going to move good compared to these shorts. Like if you would have went short around here or something, yeah, you could have made some money if you were in and out of it pretty quick, but it's not as a good move as longs usually. Yeah, there's some really good put opportunities everywhere, but I can't call them. You can't call them probably. Vision can't call them. I mean, it does, but you know, you don't know, and Vision doesn't know if that short position is going to drop $10 or if it's going to drop 10 cents. So I really like to stick to the calls. On Forex, I'll short the hell out of it if that RSI is over the top on 15 minute. I'm just going to let you know now. Right up, did you get it off the open there? Perfect. Yeah, no, I mean that makes sense. I mean, like I said, a lot of you guys everywhere have been told, you know, to trade on the 1 minute, or if you weren't told, it just makes more sense for you to trade on the 1 minute because, you know, you see what's going on. But oh, at least, man. I mean, you can see right here that RSI. I mean, it went to 19.9, and for Apple, that's low. You know, it's a big volume ticker, so you know, you see that and you're like, okay, I'm getting in on that next long signal. Me, I would have gambled on that doji, partied when I got the long signal. So, but what it do? I mean, it rode it up until that RSI needed a reset. And what happened then? It started to go down. It wanted to go back up until the market shit. So you can see, I mean, just let that RSI kind of hold your hand, then let Vision take your hand and pull you in the right direction. You got it. I just wanted to show everybody. Yeah, that's why I said I like to gamble a little bit, because sometimes it'll it'll bite you. But you know, when the RSI is, especially on something like Apple, when it's 19 right there, and then the doji's not even 30 yet, I feel pretty safe about that gamble. And then, like, you know, if you wanted to, you see this candle here. I mean, it's straight bullish. There's no wick out the bottom of it. Very good sign. RSI just came up off the bottom. You have an engulfing candle there. Bullish candle with no wick out the bottom. Doji for the reversal. Send it. It's not advice, by the way. yeah. Let's go on to 1 minute. We'll go. I'll just go signal to signal so we know where we're at here. So signal to signal there. 5 minute. We'll swap to the 1 to go find our spot. Yeah, dude. I mean, you would have been out right here. I mean, yeah, you would have made some money, like you said. I mean, but you would. But you would have been out right there, you know. But as you can see, this is why the 5 minute will kind of worry you when you first start trading it, because you're like, oh, what the hell's happening? It's not moving, or it's kind of going down. You know, your profit's going down. Swap to the 1 minute. Just kind of take a peek. The RSI came to 70, so it's time to reset it. Take a little dip, come back up for another 70 touch, take a little dip, come back up for another touch, dip, touch, dip, touch. You know, when you see this thing and you're on the 5 minute, you're going to know when to sell because Vision's going to tell you. So just let it do its thing. Try not to get in the way of it on the 5 minute. But, I mean, either way, like I said, if you want to take profit before Vision tells you to, I mean, fucking take profit right there in the middle. I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, I mean, that's a big run, so. Yeah, no, I got it on the gambler because that's what I swing trade on. So if I swap that back to very low, yeah, you're going to see a lot of scalping signals in there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No problem. But yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Like, if I'll put a different colored bar here. We'll put that one yellow. We'll make it fatter so we can see it. Let's swap back to the 5 minute. See where you would. Oh, that's 15. You know, don't go telling nobody, but a little bit. Yeah. So if you were on the 1 minute, that yellow line is where you exited. So you exited the candle right after the long signal on the 5. So it just kind of, yeah, I know it probably chaps your ass a little bit to see it, but now you know. I mean, just kind of sucker through it tomorrow, and try to trade the 5, and I'm sure you'll see a big difference. Oh yeah. Yeah, I want to see how much you left. No offense. No offense. We'll go right around here. There's about 3.5, probably more, that you left out there. No biggie. We all gotta learn lessons. I had to learn it too, man. I had to learn it too. I did the same shit when I started. I was on the 1 minute. Like, yeah, I'm gonna see everything. I'm gonna see if it moves a little bit. I'm gonna see it. Yeah, I watch it too. Yeah, a lot of times, man, you can just get in your own way. But the more you do it, I mean, the better you're gonna get. So it's all practice, really, until you become rich enough where you ain't gotta do it anymore. No problem. Does anybody else have any more questions? Go ahead. Well, what do you want to do? Who said they were going to delist? Who said that they were going to delist it? Well, I'll give you one secret. Amazon gets 99% of their inventory from Alibaba. So it ain't going nowhere. You know, all the people that do Amazon FBA, they're getting it from Alibaba. That's where they connect with the people in China that make all this stuff. You go to Alibaba.com or AliExpress. Hell, you can talk to them right now if you want to start making your own products. I mean, I've done it. I've ordered stuff from Alibaba and talked to them. Hell, you can have anything made over there. I had some CNC aluminum parts made in China. Why? Because it's cheaper. Profit margins. But I wouldn't worry about them delisting. I mean, now on the holding factor, that's up to you. I mean, it's hard to tell you what to do with your money. Although I do say, hey, you know, if you'd go day trade this thing or swing trade it, you know, or maybe swing trade some other stuff for day trade some other stuff, you'll most likely make more money doing that than holding on to something. You know, like if I had somebody, they used to be in the Discord, I'm not sure if they still are, they bought Facebook when it IPO'd. And they're like, man, yeah, cool, you know, I've made a bunch of money on it, I still have it. But if I would have day traded that thing or swing traded it from the beginning, I would have way more. And it's 100% true. Swing trading, honestly, that's where the money is. Options make a bunch of money, especially if you swing trade options. Swing trading is where it's at, whether it's options or shares. So, but I mean, Alibaba don't look bad. I mean, it looks like it's due for a good little run up. But I can't tell you when that's going to be. He probably did. Huh. Uh. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's too many people with Alibaba, Jack Wong or whatever his name is. There's too many people with, you know, them as each other, you know, with their hand in each other's pockets, and they ain't going nowhere. Yeah. It's risky. Yeah. At least it ain't 100%. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, you kind of cut out there, but it kind of sounded like you maybe said you were at a loss. Looks like you probably cut out there some more. Um, I would honestly, you know, if you're at a loss, take it on the chin and put the money to work elsewhere. I mean, you could put that into 3 or 4 different things. You know, good swing trades and be at a whole different level by next month. It's it's kind of the Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same thing. I feel like when I think investors, I'm like, that's old news, man. I mean, honestly, as fast as like the reason that there's investors and it's been investors for so long is because they've had to call and phone in what they wanted to get into. They're not going to call back in 5 minutes and say, hey, take me out at a profit. Now that we have a phone in our hand with countless number of apps that we can just get in, get out, I mean, within seconds. I mean, it's a whole different ball game. So I would like when I think of investors and holding long term, I think of putting my money into a bank. So in other words, I think of me losing money because of depreciation. Because I know that if I took that money and day traded it, or you know, like Cash, she buys WSC options. I mean, and she's in them for 2-3 minutes, and she's out, and she's made, you know, close to $1,000 more if she wanted to buy more contracts. You're not going to make that until this thing moves a hell of a lot. I mean, I don't think you have enough shares to even come close to making $1,000 like she does in just a couple minutes. So yeah, there's more risk because you're day trading them, but like if you follow like the things I just showed you, you know, follow that RSI, kind of trade off the 5 minute and stuff like that, and you're gonna lose a little bit. I mean, practicing starting out, that's just the way it is. But in the long run, you're gonna be way more ahead than holding on to stuff like that. It's a good stock. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good one to hold on to. But at the end of the day or the year, you can make more just kind of playing back and forth on stuff. I see it as a bank, and your money's just kind of going to shit. No offense. Yeah, it happens. I mean, it is what it is. You take it on the chin and go to the next one. It's only quitters lose, just so you know. Yeah, you get used to it, huh? But yeah, I mean, you definitely. I mean, you got a good choice in stocks. I'll give you that. But I mean, I'm just curious, kind of how that thing moves every day. Because honestly, I've never looked to day trading it. But I mean, I've always kind of had it tinkering for it in the back of my head. Let's see on the 5 minute. I'm not sure how much contracts are for this thing, but that thing moved almost $3. I mean, that's a lot of money. I mean, if you bought just a few contracts on that thing, or hell, one contract, I'd have to imagine that it's a pretty pricey contract, so it's probably got a pretty good delta. I mean, one contract's going to pay out very, very well on that with a $3 move. So, I mean, I'm not trying to force your hand, but yeah, that's the kind of stuff I like to find. Is the stuff that I mean just trades well every day. It's got some good volume to it. I don't really mess with buying and selling shares too much anymore because I think a lot of that chasing the top gainer shit gets a lot of people caught up, and then you're usually stuck holding a big old bag uh, instead of cutting a loss. Um, Probably because you listened or you watched it on the 1 minute. Uh, I'm not a big top gainers fan. Because I mean, you gotta post a watch list because people like them. So you know that's okay. But I think you'll get way more ahead if you just find stuff to go to every day and trade every day. You don't have to go searching for news in the morning. You don't have to go see who's the top gainer that people are already automatically going to target because it's up 200%. You're already targeted, you know, by the people selling short. There's already people with short shares reserved on that thing, and so you're just taking a big risk. Where if you went to something just like Alibaba every day, I mean, there's moves in here that you can grab every day. Like it can literally be a 50-cent move in your favor and pay you out big time on options. I mean, because obviously with being $200 something, I don't think anybody really is going to be buying enough shares to make it worth it. And don't get freaked out by buying option contracts and day trading them like everybody else does, because to me, I mean, yeah, there's the theta crust, there's burn, time decay, yada yada, but you're just buying them and selling them just like you would shares. On the longs, you go with a call. On the shorts, you go with a put. But like I said, you kind of see how those shorts are kind of pretty short in there. That's why I don't really mess around with puts too much. Not to ramble on, sorry, but to answer your question shortly, I think you'd be better off just going and trading some other stuff instead of just leaving your money sitting there stagnant like you called it. Oh boy, not yet. Not yet. Getting pretty tempting. Oh shit, fire. Shit, fire. Better take this off the gambler here. oh look, Vision told you to go long before it went long and way up there. Imagine that. Freaking know-it-all Vision.